Hi, everybody. Welcome to Understand Your Cycle, where we turn taboos into table topics. My name is Tara, and today I'm joined by Capu. We are the founders of Understand Your Cycle. We've started this series to introduce some amazing guests in the future, and to kickstart it, we thought we'd tell you a little bit more about ourselves and also a bit more about why we are here and why we've done this in the first place. Hi, Capu.
Hello, Tara.
Before we get going, could you please tell us a period-related story that you may or may not have told anybody else?
Yes, I definitely can. And I may have told you this one before, but it's a good one, so I'll share it again. At the beginning of my relationship with my now ex-boyfriend, one time we were having sex, and I'd say 15 minutes in, so quite a good way in, I realized that my menstrual cup was still inside of me. Now, for context, I started using a menstrual cup, I think, like 7 years ago now, and I freaking love it.
Wow.
It's so comfortable, and I always just forget that it's there, particularly reaching the end of my period. And so, yeah, I completely forgot it was there, and then right in the middle, I was like, oh, I think I know why this is not working.
Oh my god! Wait, hold up! I have a question. So, which menstrual cup do you use? Because there's ones with a little stick that pokes out.
Yeah, but
it's not that one. I'm guessing
it is that one. But so I found out that my cervix is particularly high, and so I think it just goes in quite high for me. And it's a tiny little stick. But yes, there was the stick. And I think also it was the beginning, and he didn't feel we hadn't had sex enough for him to be like, oh, this is weird. This isn't what I usually feel. And so it was kind of like, I think, and he once I said it, he was like, I was wondering why, I can't remember what he said, but it was like, I was wondering why or something. And I was just like, oh no.
Oh my god. Wait, so what did you do? Did you just have a light bulb moment and you were like,
yes,
oh shit.
Literally. Light bulb. Because also I'm in the process of learning how not to think too much during sex. And so I actively try not to have light bulb moments during sex. And this time I was like, oh fuck. Yeah. So that's what I would call it, a light bulb moment. And then I just sort of ran to the toilet and took it out and came back, and we continued.
That is brilliant. I wonder how many people that has happened to, because I am sure that you are not alone in that one. There's also there's one. Have you seen the I can't remember what it's called. I think it's a Nixit, which is it's more of a cup,
yes,
more of like a that one. I mean,
cylinder.
You wouldn't even know that was there if that happened with that. Yeah. I don't think, would you?
But it feels so shallow. That one scares me because it feels so shallow. But yeah, no, but it looks. I've heard good things about it. Yeah, no, I think a lot of people start forgetting their menstrual cup is there if they're lucky not to have period pains.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I never got on with them, weirdly. It just didn't. I've tried a few of them, and they feel weird. I don't like them. So I mean, you're lucky that you like them.
I've converted
so great
many
when you do.
To it. I'm like a converter of the menstrual cup, but I get it. Some people are just no. As many times as they try, it's a no. But for some people, for a lot of people, it's just a matter of trying 3 times, and then you start forgetting. Because you learn how to put it in, and you don't feel weird about this thing inside your body. But if you've tried 3 times and you still feel weird about it, then maybe it's worth assessing other options, which there are many.
Yeah, exactly. I really wanted it to work, so I did try quite a bit, and I was like, oh no, I don't like this. I'm a period pants girl through and through. Gotta love them. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, this isn't about me. This is about you.
It doesn't matter. I love period pants too, but menstrual cup all the way.
So what got you so into this? What's made you so passionate about periods?
About periods? Good question. So I would say the biggest thing is personal experience. When I was at school, I got my period my mum never told me about what periods were. So my friend's mum told me what periods were, and then I was at school and someone just gave me a tampon, and I was a tampon girl until I found the menstrual cup and realized how bad tampons were for the planet. Non-organic ones, at least. And at school, I got my period, and then 2 years later, I just stopped having my period, which was slightly worrying. And I went to my GP, general practitioner at the NHS, and she was lovely, but it was clear that they really thought that something was wrong with me. And so throughout the next 3 years, which was the time roughly that I didn't have my period, I went through blood tests, scans, so much stuff, and no one could really tell me why or what was happening, and I didn't feel like I could speak about it because of what periods is as a topic, and unfortunately it's still very much taboo in most places. And eventually I sort of figured it out. It's because I was running competitively, and no one had said that to me. No one thought that could be a reason. And when I started stopping running as competitively, it came back, and that was also quite a process, because when you haven't had your period for 3 years, and I think this must be the case for some people who are on the hormonal IUD, it's really weird suddenly having blood again. And so then you have to sort of reconcile yourself with your period, and like when I was eating more, it was more heavy, and that suggested I was fat, and there was a whole body image thing about it as well. And at that point in time, roughly, one of my best friends started a period poverty NGO in Nigeria, and I was running a marathon. Yes, it was a marathon. I was running a marathon that year, and I really wanted to know the person heading the NGO, because I had a few cases of corruption with previous NGOs that I fundraised for. And so I decided to fundraise for her. And within the fundraising process, I learned a lot about period poverty and grew more and more passionate about it. And I still do a lot of work with period poverty today, mainly in Morocco. And so that started me off on my menstrual cycle journey, really.
I didn't know that. 3 whole years without your period, and nobody could tell you what was wrong.
No, it was horrible. I hate blood tests.
Oh God, no, me too. Oof, no. Like, that must have been really worrying for 3 whole years. Or did you not really think? I mean, how? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Part of me was like, I think part of me sort of, part of me wanted not to care, but then like doctors and people around me were like, oh, it's really weird. And so then I started not telling anyone, because people were like, oh, it's really weird. And so that sort of worsened things. And then the blood tests like didn't go well at all, and I'm still slightly traumatized with blood tests. I'm slowly getting over it. And so I sort of started avoiding going to see the NHS as well, because I was kind of like, I don't want to be told again that they don't know and that they can't figure it out. But then again, like I get it, because nothing was wrong on any of the scans or any of my hormones. So it's hard for them to know. What I wish I had known was my family history of light periods, because my mum, my aunt, all have fairly light periods, and they have had times in their life where they didn't really have periods. But because in my family we don't talk about periods, well, now we do, because I have forced it upon them. However,
great.
because we don't speak about periods, I didn't know that until a little later, and so I think that could have helped me sort of normalize it a bit in my head. But yeah, it was weird. It was really weird. And then
how did you go from? Sorry, how did you go from? So you didn't have your period, and then it was all a bit much when it came back, understandably. How did you go from those feelings to learning to love your period and love your cycle? How was that journey?
It took a long time. I think So the other thing I want to add is some of friends around me would be like, oh, you're so lucky you don't have your period. And that didn't help the whole thing, but it's also understandable. Anyways, so to go to the how did I learn to love my cycle and my period? It took me a really long time. There was a lot of body image work that was very linked to it. I think, and a turning point for me was to learn about it. So I started reading quite a lot of books about the menstrual cycle, etc., and learning how it impacted my exercise, how it impacted my work, etc., sort of helped me see the value of it. I also had a really supportive boyfriend who, at the time, whenever my period came, he was like, we have to celebrate it, Capu. It's a good thing. And honestly, it sounds a bit cliche and weird to say now, but honestly, like, it really helped me, because every time it came, every month, it was like, yay, your period's here. And that is a really big shift to make, to instead of like, oh, this is horrible, like, why do I have periods, why am I a woman, to, oh, amazing, this shows that I'm healthy, I'm fertile, and like I'm happy and not stressed. And so that really helped. And then I had friends who were cycle syncing at one point, a little after that. And so I started cycle syncing as well with my exercise specifically. And now I feel very knowledgeable about my period, and I love it. And it's so comfortable with, also the menstrual cup really helped too. Sorry, that was a little all over the place, but
I loved it. I loved it. I love that about your boyfriend. I think that's so great. And I think also just talking to friends about it in a positive light. There's this app that somebody showed me recently that's like, I mean, it looks like you're tracking the stars, but it's basically like gives you like an affirmation every day, depending on where you are in your cycle, which is really cool. I need to figure out. Yeah, it's a bit too woo-woo for me, but it's quite cool. And I love that. And then you can also add all of your friends on it. I don't know. I need to find it.
It's okay. We can put it in the notes
if I remember in this space of time. Yeah, it's somewhere on here anyway. Oh, Stardust. I found it. Stardust.
Okay.
It's called. Yeah, I'll send it to you.
And
on
it's
WhatsApp.
based on your
But
cycle?
yeah, you add. Yeah, no. So you input same as the other tracking apps. You input your data, and then it figures out where you are on your cycle, and then also tracks your friends like next to you, and then we'll say like, oh, this person's in this phase, or like that person's like, you know, whatever, and then it gives you some sort of affirmation or something. I don't know. I mean, to tell you the truth, I opened it once, took one look at it, and then closed it again. But everyone else seems to absolutely rave about it.
I think there's a balance. Between embracing your femininity and all of that slightly, or what you and me might call woo-woo, and just learning about it and appreciating that.
No, but like, I love it for people. Like, don't get me wrong. I think the app is really, really cool, which is why I'm even mentioning it in the first place. But I'm bringing it back to like just being open with other people around you about it, and painting it in not so negative light, because everything we've always learnt about it all the time is so negative, and it's such a load of shit, because as soon as you look at it positively and you actually learn that it's a great thing, and like you were saying, like, I'm fertile, I'm happy, I'm alive, like all of these things, what, you know, why are we all so negative about it? Yeah, it's great.
Exactly.
That's good. And my closing question for you is, what is one thing you'd tell your younger self about periods?
Ooh, good question. I knew this was coming, but I didn't prepare. I would tell my younger self, I think the underlying message of positivity around periods, which is what we just spoke about, and maybe a bit classic, but just a reminder that periods mean that you're growing, that you're maturing into a woman, and it means you're fertile, it means you're healthy, it means your hormones are balanced. and the positivity when it comes, because I think for so long I just hated it and everything around it. So yeah, just reminding my younger self of that.
Yeah, I feel like if we were taught in a positive way from the start, it would save us a lot of trouble.
I agree.
A lot of trouble. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I hope that someday we can live in a world where that is the case, and that
100%.
it's not such a bad thing, because we're all going to experience it, or most of us anyway are going to experience it. What is it, 500 times?
Yeah, an average of 500 times in our lifetime. But I think I'm hoping, I think it is changing even with our generation. And so with our generation becoming mothers and parents, it will I feel like the ball is moving, and now we just need to keep pushing it in the right direction.
I feel like there's going to be a big jump when our generation start having kids of that age that they're going to speak to about it, because that will be like a real sort of turning point.
I can't wait to speak to my potential future daughter about it.
And son, we need the son on board as well.
Sorry. Yes, of course. I've been teaching my godson about periods, actually. This has been he's
I love
13 this year, and he found my menstrual cup because I was cleaning it, and I just forgot it in the pan where you like disinfect your menstrual cup, and so he found it and he was like, "Oh, what is this?" And I was like, "Let me tell you."
That's amazing. And actually, that has just reminded me of another story I'm about to tell you in a minute. So, everybody that's listening, you need to listen to the next little episode as well, okay? Because we're going to get some juicy stories. I could just do about 15 minutes on like ridiculous stories. But hey ho.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that, Capu.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.